Hey everybody, welcome to Hope for the Soul. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to share us, like us, heart us, do all the things that you're supposed to do.
All the things.
Okay, my chickens are back.
Hang on a second. We got to introduce. We have a caller on the line with us. We'd like to welcome our first Hope for the Soul caller, Pastoress Tracy Smith. Can you say hello to the Hope for the Soul audience?
Hello, audience.
All right.
I'm here for the prize today.
We're going to the lunch after this. That's your prize. All right, what's your joke, man?
We're giving away one free chicken joke.
Hang on. We need to welcome our guest.
Oh, yes, welcome.
Oh, yes, welcome.
Welcome.
All right, go ahead.
And y'all call my jokes cheesy. Okay, why didn't the hen yell at her friend when she was really, 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 really angry?
Tell us.
Because she was too chicken.
Oh, I thought you had Mom on the phone and you were giving a hen joke. I thought this was strategic.
Why do chicken jokes do this?
That's so dumb.
Okay, I have one more. What do you call it when a chicken lays an egg on the roof of a barn?
What's up?
An egg roll.
Ah, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, Mom. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Hope for the Soul.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part of the joke.
This is how the episode has gone so far. All right, bye, Mom. We'll see you.
Bye.
All right, go ahead, babe. While I disconnect Dad's Bluetooth.
Y'all are welcome.
It's been an eventful episode so far.
I think I'm actually running out of chicken jokes. So if you are listening and you have a chicken joke, send it on over.
No,
send
don't.
it on over.
Don't send it over.
Any chicken jokes, I like to do the pastor jokes too. Keep y'all humble.
Well, we need that.
Okay, any updates in the little Fifi cat's life?
I put up my tree and he's climbing up the tree, so I don't know how to stop him from doing it.
All right, so for Fifi, hashtag
Who's
Teddy.
actually Teddy.
But
Teddy.
it's Fifi forever.
Theodore Lawrence.
Cats don't have middle names. Only
Mine
people
does.
and things that go to heaven have middle names. All right, so
But I want to mention something else here before we just move on. We've got a Christmas tree up, and it's not Halloween yet.
Alex,
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Halloween was last
Halloween
week.
was this week. Okay. Man, I was sweating that one.
Thanksgiving. I put it up early since I'll go home for Christmas. I wanted to.
You got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right, so if people want to see the adventures of Theodore Roosevelt, or what's his name?
Theodore Lawrence.
Lawrence.
Fifi
okay.
for short.
Fifi for short. What's your Instagram handle? Here we go.
AL Shirley, I think. AL_ Shirley.
And if you are a good man of God
Oh, wow.
that's needing a good lady man of God, DM Sister Shirley. Highly talented, qualified, with a degree,
I did not know you were doing that.
and a heart for the kingdom.
Well, I think this is a wonderful subject to talk about, and I'm just delighted because we do have a wonderfully qualified
Wonderfully qualified.
and beautiful and
Smart.
talented,
Yep.
and smart, and she preaches a little bit. She doesn't have a preaching license, but she's working on that. and
Said,
it's-
am I?
All right, we need to move on before we really embarrass her.
and we really are. We are looking. She is on the market. We have her
my
on the
God.
market.
All right, that's enough. I was playing and we were, okay, goodness. I'm sorry, Alex. This is all my fault. I'm embarrassed for you now.
I think it's great.
All right, so.
I wish we had a crazy picture to put up right now. Here she is. Here she is.
I'm I can't say anything because I'll be
One of those
offensive.
composite
Appalachian, there you
pictures.
go.
One of those composite pictures.
All right, so what are we talking about today? We got to get serious.
Today we were going to talk about 7 attributes of happy people.
Hey, that's a good intro then.
But
And welcome back.
But welcome back to me.
Welcome back to you.
Well, I'm glad that you let me come back. Sometimes
You've been gone for a while.
It's been 2 or 3 weeks or longer. I don't know how long it's been.
well, you had some recordings, and
Yeah.
then And then something happened last week, and
2 weeks ago, episode fell through, and so then you were out of town that week also, so kind of
Yeah.
happened. But we're here.
So you're going to speak to us today.
I'm speaking.
This is
to
a
you.
Beyond the Sermon
Yeah.
for our listeners, where we dive into the reason behind a sermon or a Bible study was taught here at
On a Wednesday night
Conroe
a few
Church.
weeks ago. I brought a subject about 7 attributes or qualities of happy people, and immediately I had some smiles, and then a couple big frowns. So I knew that who needed to receive the word that night.
You knew who your
But,
audience was.
But do you realize that 40% of our capacity for happiness is within us to change? We have the power to change ourselves.
That's good.
We choose to be happy. There are events in life that we couldn't have helped. That's life. No, bad things happen. But beyond those unforeseen bad things that happen, most of our happiness is controlled within our own hearts and minds. And we choose joy, or we choose happiness, or we choose grumpiness. It's a mental choice that we've made. And then I think it's safe in saying that all of us have good days and bad days. We all have happy seasons, and then we have sad seasons. But I think the difference between a chronically happy or a chronically disgruntled person is how long that they choose to stay there. It's when we go through a season, and we have reasons to be upset, reason to be sad, but I encourage people to not dwell there too long. Don't put a mailbox up, start taking mail in there. I mean, don't get your utilities. I mean, this is a temporary address. It's not the permanent place that you want to be. And none of us are going to be always happy. None of us are going to always be that way, but we have the choice. I can remember, and this is beyond the sermon, so it's neat that we can talk and go places we didn't go in the lesson. But do you remember the sweet little sister Keen that came to our church?
Ooh.
She lived to be 100, I think 103, and she had like 5 husbands. All of them had passed away, and she had like been a widow 5 times, and her only son had gotten something in Vietnam years, and he had died very young with disease, and then she didn't have children, didn't have grandchildren, but she was the happiest person that you could find, and she went through life with joy. She collected people, she collected relationships, and if she would tell you her story, I mean, when she told you your story, you would want to weep to hear her story. But you couldn't hear her story and weep because of the joy that was in her face. And she was so happy, and she's so joyful. And a long time ago, she had made a decision that she was going to be happy. And I think that we have the ability to make the decision: are we going to stay here, or are we gonna move on? And that's one of the attributes of happy people, is they choose not to stay unhappy. One other thing that we can talk about is a happy person's got a default belief in them that life is good. Mm-hmm. I know somebody, and I just, my heart goes out to them, because the whole world can be full of sunshine, and this friend of mine, he walk right in the middle of the sunshine.
It's going to start raining.
And while he's standing there, the sunshine is everywhere. A cloud's going to get over him. It's going to start raining. And I don't understand it, because it seemed like he's not following the cloud. It seemed like the cloud's following him.
Yeah.
But I think that people that just automatically look for the good in things, and they default that there's something bound to be good. I know people who have this default in them that it's bad, it's sad, and they're the half-empty people. But these people that go through life finding surely there's something good, and they have this default that life is good. And it doesn't stop with life, because happy people also look for the best in people.
That's right.
They somehow can look at circumstances, and they find good right in the middle of the bad, and they find good in people, and when they many times shouldn't really be believing in people. But a happy person has this ability just to find the good and find joy and find this, and they find that they trust people. Happy people seem like they can just trust people. And then the flip side is those that are unhappy chronically. Everybody's bad, and nobody can be trusted. Everybody's out to get them.
They're cynical.
You know that. You know that person because we all have one of those in our life. But a happy person believes that people overall are good. And then they don't stop there, but they look at them. They choose to be happy with themselves, and they choose to be happy with the people around them, and overall the world. They can find what's right in the world. I was writing something a few days ago, and I was referencing a memory from the past, and I was sitting under someone who was preaching against everything, and I gave this person credit in my life as being one of the most influential mentors in my life, though I can't think of many positive things I was influenced by this person. But I look back and I give them 100% credit for me being able to find out what's right with the world. Because all I heard for that season of time is what was wrong with this one and what was wrong with that and what was wrong with them. All I heard was that negative. So I decided one day, I'm not going to be that guy. And so let's find out what's right. You were going to say something.
I was just going to, the old joke that we make between ourselves is you found a new appreciation for fresh air because that was the only thing that was right.
Absolutely. But somebody that chooses to be happy, they'll find what's right in this world.
Yeah, that's good.
And I know we have seasons when we should naturally grieve or be broken, but it's still a great world. You know, life might be hard, but God is good and life is good, and we're gonna find success with this. So I think that when you see a happy person, that they just find a way to find joy in the journey, even if the journey is in a bumpy part of the road. And then another thing happy people do is they focus on the blessings of God, and they live a life of gratitude. I mean, how can you not be happy with the blessings of God that's in your life?
Yeah, he's been so good to us.
And I know people that spend too much time comparing themselves to other people. And we have to recognize that we all are unique. We all have different blessings. We all have different giftings. And if we're going to judge ourselves based on what's going on in someone else's world, we probably will have many reasons to be sad. First off, the part of somebody else's life that you see is the part they want you to see.
That's right.
I mean, if you're looking at their social media or you're looking at any of that, why do churches post all the baptisms and the baby dedications and the neat things that happen, but no church posted the meeting that somebody told the pastor how bad he was and they were leaving and taking their friends with them?
Yeah.
I don't see those reports on social media, but there's not a pastor in the world who hasn't had that conversation.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so we put our best foot forward. So if you begin to compare yourself to what you see publicly, you're comparing yourself to a false narrative. And so if you can focus on the goodness of God, the blessings of God that's in your life, and not compare yourself to someone else. I think there's a scripture that talks about comparing yourselves to others. Yeah. If you're so caught up in what others are doing, you can't find the joy for your own journey, the joy for your own family, the joy for your own life. And
what's the quote that comparison is the thief of joy? Mm-hmm. Whenever I compare what I'm doing versus what you're doing, because you only allow me to see what you want me to see.
Right.
And I'm seeing all of my life. I'm seeing the behind the scenes and the social media, but I'm only seeing your social media. You know, Stephen Furtick, he's famous for saying this, that we can't compare our life with someone else's highlight reel. And that's a powerful statement. Yeah. That whenever we fall into that comparison trap, it'll change how we view our family. It'll change how a man or woman views their marriage, how they view their parenting, their kids. I mean, it's...
Well, let's put it a personal experience here. every week when I'm mixing around, either in town or like I've had business people say they've been watching, and then I have other people. I had one of our major political leaders in our community 2 weeks ago. We bumped into him. He said, "I've been watching you," and that was very complimentary. However, when you start watching people's lives and you see them with what you've just said, with the fact that we put our best forward, and then we want to be compared to the ugly times, or we compare our ugly times with it. It's just it's extremely complimentary when somebody says they've been watching your best, but you didn't post the other. Yeah. Another thing I want to talk about is you trust the Lord. A happy person learns how to trust the Lord to be in control of their life. I mean, nobody likes a worry wart. And nobody likes people that just looks and they're full of anxiety, and they know it's going to be bad, and they know that something bad happened to them when in their childhood and they hadn't got over it. They're still filtering everything through that. But we learn how to trust the Lord with our life. And I know that right now in our church we have a family who lost a grandchild this week, and we'll attend the funeral later in the week. And my heart and your mother's heart, Trent, has really been tender towards these people, because it wasn't that long ago we walked this pathway. And we know that feeling. And we also learned that as cloudy as that season of life was, the sun was going to shine again. Yeah. And we couldn't argue the storm. We couldn't argue the dark clouds. We couldn't argue all of that. But neither can we argue the fact that time heals and the sun shines. It's like the airplane that takes off in the cloud cover. You will eventually break through those clouds, and above those clouds, there's bright light. There's sunshine again.
Storms don't last forever.
They do not last. They do not last forever. Therefore, we trust the Lord. We trust the Lord with our lives completely. And then a happy person, they indeed view the future with hope and excitement. I do a lot of. I have a friend that I do a lot of stuff with, and
sorry.
And many times when we start off into a new venture, he uses this term, "Oh, this will be fun." Okay. Well, I noticed that one of his children was given a huge thing publicly a couple of weeks ago, and then her comment on social media, she says, "Oh, this will be fun." And I'm thinking, there is a generational sense of joy that has been passed from one generation to the next. And it was a huge deal that was happening, but it was viewed with the lens of joy, happiness. This is going to be fun. Mm-hmm. And the holidays are coming, and we can either view those family times. So every family's got a weirdo. I like to say, if you don't know who the weirdo in your family is, it's probably you.
Dad says everybody has every family has a weirdo, and I are one.
Today it's me. But all of us have awkward situations in our family.
Yeah.
Okay. But we can either dread what's going to happen at Thanksgiving, or we can be excited. We can be excited.
You like
about
Kayla,
it.
embrace it.
Embrace the crazy.
I hope it goes crazy. I'm gonna sit in the corner with a grin.
You have entertainment for a day.
Exactly. In some cases, a couple of years, because we can laugh and talk about it.
Yeah.
And if you got it on video, you can just
Yeah.
enjoy it all you want.
Oh yeah. So going back to what you were saying, a lot of times we see what we look for. If you're walking into an unknown situation, if you're looking for negative, you're going to see negative.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're looking for something fun or funny or exciting, you're going to find it. It's opening week of deer season around here. Me and you haven't hunted for a long time, and we're bitter with each other about it. And so,
but you know what that means for us in the suburb?
What's that?
On the opening week of deer season for 2 days, we can't move around in traffic because everybody's leaving town.
This past Friday was terrible.
What takes us 10 minutes to do takes us an hour to do because all of those stinking deer hunters have stopped our traffic up in town going through town.
Yeah. So it's been 15 years since you and I hunted because I decided to
we
get
hunted
married.
until you
Kayla called
you
me.
discovered Caleb.
Yeah. And so, but I can remember hunting and sitting in the deer blind as the sun was coming up. I think there's a deer out there because I'm looking for a deer. And as the sun would come up another 10 or 15 minutes, what I thought was a deer was a bush. That bush had been there for 3 or 4 years. I knew that bush was there. You know, I'd walk by that bush. I knew, but that morning, because I saw what I was looking for, even though it wasn't what I was looking for in my mind. And so many times in life, we see something that we know is not a deer. We see something that we know is not scary or bad, but it's scary and bad because that's what we're looking for, is scary and bad. Baby, you have something, you got a smirk on your face. Take it away.
No, I really like that analogy. You wowed me with that. I like that.
Well, I'll unwow you here in a few minutes.
So you walk through life. You walk through life looking for hope, looking for joy, looking for the good in things, rather than looking for the worry and fear. And then you find a way to fill your conversation with joy and happiness. I mean, you become your words. I mean, I don't know that there's power in the tongue. And I don't necessarily think that someone is operating in a prophetic mode if they complain a lot. But if it's only negative speak, they're probably going to be that person with the cloud raining over them.
Yeah.
And with all the goodness that happens in life and all the blessings of God, we have got to remember that everybody has a bad day. But life is good.
It's good.
And we have a lot to be joyful for. And just like this episode, we started with a surprise phone call, and this thing's gone off track, and it's been crazy. But that's a real picture of real life.
Yeah.
And if we can back
Hard
up and
drive
do,
crashed.
if we we had a drive crash, and we're going to go back and do some editing, and we're going to really look good. But you've got to remember, there's been some chaos right in the middle of this podcast, but we've giggled and laughed more during this today than we have probably any other single podcast since we started all those seasons ago.
That's probably true.
There's joy in the chaos.
And it started with a chicken joke.
There's happiness in the chaos.
There you go.
So, just simply this: if you've got a bad day, get on back up.
Yep.
Find joy. Walk in peace. Walk in confidence. Walk in trust. God's going to keep you. God's going to help you, and walk with joy in this journey. We have a lot to be happy about.
Yes.
Paul said, I think myself happy. I'm sure that's probably in your notes. You can't.
No, I
teach a lesson like
avoid that because I've heard it preached about so much.
Yeah.
And I interpret that verse as I think myself till I'm happy, or I think I'm happy. I don't know.
Well, okay, so let's take it this. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Yes.
And so from the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And if you're going to talk negative,
You're going to receive
you're
negative.
going to receive negative. I mean, words create worlds. Everything exists twice.
Hey, can we tweet that?
Go ahead.
Words create worlds.
It's not mine, but yeah, go ahead. I don't know who said it. I've already quoted Stephen Furtick. I don't know. So y'all give me credit for that one. It's not mine, but I'll take credit for it.
Who is Stephen Furtick?
He's pastoring a little home missions church.
Well, let's send him an offering.
He probably needs.
Let's send him an
probably
offering.
needs some help. But yeah. So death and life is in the power of the tongue. For the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh. And whenever we find ourselves in scenarios that are less than optimum, we can make them better just by having a positive outlook. It doesn't mean the situation is just going to end positively, but it's just like what you told me about criticism, Dad. It doesn't matter what criticism we hear about ourselves. It doesn't matter how far outlandish it is. There's always a root of truth in all criticism.
Listen to the thread.
And so we can apply that same principle. Doesn't matter how bad the situation is. There's something in the situation that we can learn from and grow from and find peace and contentment in. So
Absolutely. This is a great episode.
it's been fun. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And who knows, we might have to have a weekly call-in guest. There you go.
That'd be fun.
That would be fun. And not tell them, just call
Surprise.
them. Yeah.
Today we have on blah, blah, blah.
All right, I got it.
Just make sure they're good people that don't say wordy dirge when they get
And
on.
you know that they're happy people.
I got somebody. I've got somebody I'm calling next week. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Surprise call.
If you're listening, you might get a phone call.
God bless.
All right, bye, everybody. Love y'all.